I had to completely slow down, and I have learned how to live my life through different lenses in a way because I I lived a very high-paced LA life previous to my accident. So, um, my new existence is very slow and steady, very moment at a time, stay present, and that's been a huge gain for me because I never lived my life that way previously.
This episode is brought to you by the Arts Council for Monterey County. What makes life feel real? It's expressing yourself, finding your people, and using art to heal, grow, and be heard. The Arts Council for Monterey County, Arts for MC, believes the arts benefit everyone. They bring art into schools, community centers, and public spaces, and support students with scholarships, workshops, and programs like Poetry Out Loud and Youth Poet Laureate. Whether you're an artist or just looking to be inspired, your journey starts here. Learn more at arts4mc.org. That's arts, the number 4, mc.org. And remember, they're also proud sponsors of this podcast. So thank you to the Arts Council for Monterey County.
What up, everybody? Welcome back to Offline Xpression. My name is Jeff Hinderscheid. I am your host here in this beautiful part of southern Monterey County, California, and we are back. Today, I am joined by a guest, Shannon Michelle. Shannon, say hello to the people.
Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome to the podcast. Where are you located?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh, cool. So you're right there. You're right there with us. It's probably beautiful down there as well then.
It is. It's gorgeous today.
Yeah, we have been very, very cold lately, but I mean, we're Californians, right? So very, very cold it got down to
Cold is different for us.
39 degrees, and people anywhere else are like, that ain't cold, man. But it is gorgeous today, clear skies, nice and sunny. So it's a beautiful winter day. I like it. We're in NFL football time and there's all kinds of stuff going on. Does the city get pretty raucous at this time of year because of that?
It does, and also there was the Golden Globes yesterday, so, the city was it kind of I was driving down the street thinking, "What is going on around here?" And then somebody said, "Oh, the Golden Globes." I'm like, "Oh, okay, good to know."
Oh, yeah. At least there's a reason, right? It's not just what the heck is going on and there's no good explanation.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, so it's, yeah, it's good down here. It's always pretty busy, but it's a beautiful city.
Yeah, that's right. And it always could be it's easy to get caught in the rat race in a big city somewhere like LA or New York or San Francisco and stuff like that. But having that positive outlook to go, it's a beautiful day, and knowing that is a really big deal. So I think that um, it's nice to slow down when it's really hard to do these days, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I mean, for me, I had to completely slow down, and I have learned how to live my life through different lenses in a way
Hmm.
because I I lived a very high-paced LA life previous to my accident. So, um, it's my new existence is very slow and steady, very moment at a time, stay present, and that's been a huge gain for me because I never lived my life that way previously.
Yeah, sadly, sometimes it takes something horrible to really put some stuff in perspective, I suppose. Well, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, why don't I give you an opportunity to introduce yourself in you know, in the way that gives you a
Yeah.
chance to say what you do, who you are, what
Yes.
what we're referring to here, so that we get
Yeah.
to get our
So people
listeners
know
to
what
know what
we're
you're talking
talking about.
about. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So my name's Shannon Michelle. I am now I'm an author. Post a very severe motorcycle accident about 3.5 years ago. I was riding down PCH and got in a horrific motorcycle accident where I literally am grateful just to be breathing. Like broke my body, all my parts. Some are more obvious than others. Brain trauma to the point where they had to keep me in a coma for 2 months.
Oh my gosh.
Um, and saved my life, like, beyond body and soul, all of it. They had to, like, it cracked and broke, and it had to be rebuilt, and now I'm repurposing my brain because when I woke from my accident after the 2 months in a coma, my brain was deleted. Like, I kept waking up over and over again, not knowing where I was, who I was, like, it was a cycle of repeats in not knowing anything, but waking up in pain and trying to understand where I was. That was really a hard. I mean, a lot of it was hard to transitions, but that I remember, and I say I remember, but I remember what I remember because I did it so many times. Like, I have to hear it from my daughter, like, "Mom already heard that. Yes, we know. Yes, we told you." And I would be like, "What? Huh?" And I didn't understand that my brain trauma, it almost created this short-term memory limitation that I couldn't remember if I said or did anything, and that was hard.
Oh, I
Anyway, so I
imagine.
woke up I woke up, they brought me home finally, and then, it was just a lot of slow steps. Again, physically, I had to do tons of surgeries post being in the hospital, um, and then, another, what I call a unbelievable moment happened a year and a half past my accident. And everybody bear with me, I close my eyes sometimes because my brain, it needs to not focus on anything other than the words I'm looking for. Because with my brain trauma, again, I've had to relearn everything. So sometimes it's easier when I'm trying to navigate what I'm saying, I have to close my eyes to not get distracted.
Okay, no worries. Thank
Um,
you. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, so a year and a half post this severe motorcycle accident, um I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and it was like I remember getting the call and literally laughing and thinking that after everything my body and brain had gone through, like, it couldn't get any worse. And then my daughter had to say to me, "Oh, mom, we have to focus on the cancer now. Not the brain, not the body, but the cancer." And I had to have my daughter tell me to focus on something else in recovery. And that was a lesson for both of us as well. Like, you can go through a lot, but that doesn't mean that more can't happen, you know? Anyway, so this is me now. And this is I'm gonna have a 4-year, what I call rebirth anniversary next month. And I'm grateful for, again, all of it. I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful for the ability to think and walk and talk and remember. We go through life thinking that we can educate ourselves and make enough right decisions to have a good life. And then something chaotic can happen to you out of nowhere and change all of that. And for us to be open to, staying present and being grateful for this moment right now, that is a beautiful way to live your life. At least that's how I try to remember to live my life.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a really intense story. Um, I'm so
That's why I
glad.
wrote it first.
Well, I mean, I read up on your website, and I knew the story, but it is still different when you hear somebody tell their story versus reading it, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So there's that part, but also the so so often we can watch a TV show or a movie or read an article about something like this that maybe happened to someone, and when you think of it, it like if that happened to me, like, oh my gosh, right? We immediately probably go to the hardest part about all of it. And then when you talk to people, oftentimes you see these incredible attitudes. People who, let's say they're athletes, right? And something horrible happens and they're told, you're not going to walk again or run again or you'll never play that sport again. And then somehow, lo and behold, through just sheer will and determination and motivation, they end up back to where they are able to do things. And you're just like so inspired by these stories. And, um, the positivity, I think, is the biggest piece, like, being grateful, like, we're talking about living each life, each day in the moment and,
Mhm.
understanding that it coulda all been gone,
Mhm.
and, all those hard moments led to a place of true, genuine love of your life each and every minute that passes, and that that's the
That's not easy
inspiration
to get
right
to.
there.
It's not easy to get to either. It's not easy to stay
No,
present. People I
and a
say
pretty
that
short amount of time.
well, considering all of the yes, considering all of the what was not supposed to come back and what I was not supposed to do, the recovery for me is huge, like, leaps and bounds on how quickly I was able to physically, again, walk, swim, drive, like, I couldn't even drive, like, you run a company, and this is the before me, so the Shannon Michelle 1.0, I ran my own company, very high-end interior design firm here in LA. Had done it my whole life-ish, and you wake up one day and everything's deleted and gone in a way, and then you search for how to get things back, at least I did, and I had to learn that staying present and this new me was still pretty badass, even with all the breaks and all the chaos and all the pain. I mean, I had to find the new me. And that's where I think
Mhm.
people don't sometimes allow themselves to be within their own heart and in their own brain and in their own body, like seeing again, see yourself differently today. And it doesn't have to be post all the trauma that I've been through, but just to wake up this morning and know I'm going to have a good day. I might have a shitty day. I might have a great day. It doesn't, none of that matters. It's just staying present. Okay. I'm gonna take what I get today, and this is me today, and to see yourself in a way where this moment is what matters.
Wow. Yeah, and, it's it seems it sounds so obvious, right? And
Sometimes
it it seems like, yeah, we wanna live each day for today and all that stuff, but perspective, the perspective of what could be, what hardship was like, and all these kinds of moments, it changes everything. So, well, I commend you for your amazing outlook and for your fighter spirit, your determination, that the fact that you literally came and clawed your way back to where you are. I think it's amazing, and,
I was definitely
I know.
rebirthed. I call myself rebirthed because I literally I consider the anniversary of my accident, which my friends and family don't call it an anniversary, but I felt like I was rebirthed. I was able to come back and find my way back to
Right.
myself and
Mhm.
stay, very kind. You have to be so kind to yourself when things are so broken, you know? And it doesn't matter if it's physical or mental, but we all are broken. We all have broken parts. We all have broken pieces. And
That's exactly
that's
right.
that's normal. Like it's normal to be broken. That's a good thing.
Yep. And, I mean, if we were all perfect, life would be so boring, right?
Well, I just don't think any I don't think any I think that term, I think that we have I think the only thing that we can do is be perfect for ourselves each and every moment, be perfect in our way. And that perfection, yesterday versus today versus tomorrow, always changes as well. Like my perfect day and my perfect me was different yesterday than it is today, and it might be different tomorrow. And to get comfortable with that change, that evolution of yourself, I think is important as well. That you see yourself and find yourself, be kind to yourself with whatever.
Yeah, give yourself some grace, exactly. Well, let me ask you this then, so before your accident, you said that you had been doing you've had your own business, interior design your whole life, and which is a really creative and wonderful, career, and you were probably
Yep.
very excited and passionate about it. And
Very
when
good at what
you,
I did.
yeah, so when you came out of your 2 months of coma
Uh-huh.
and you are coming into this place where you have to start relearning who you are and what pieces fit into what places, what happened with your business and how did do you still do the same thing now? Do you have the same clients? Did you go a completely different direction? What was that transition
That's
like in terms of career work?
That's a really good question. So I had an amazing staff, and they kept my business open for about a year post my accident. They brought in one of my friends that used to be a designer that worked for me, to like fill in the space of finishing up. I had like, I don't know, the number was like 35 projects going on at that time. And, some people were like, have, great, have a nice day. We're moving on. But most of my clients I'd had for so many years, they're like, no, yeah, we'd already made these decisions. If you can follow through and get it done. And so for about a year, it stayed active. And then at a certain point, I had to close it down because I had to not focus on saving my business. I needed to focus on saving myself. And in the first year, all I could think about is what I was losing, what I'd lost, what have they gone through, and that was no way to live and recover by putting everybody else's well-being in front of mine. I had to learn to just be kind to myself and not take responsibility for anything other than breathing today or working on my memory recovery or learning to walk again. Like all of the layers of what I needed to focus on was my self-care. And that transition was really hard because I was a giver and a doer, and I had to find a place to just do my self-care first and foremost. And I did that, for quite a while, and then I'd have these moments where, I literally one day woke up. It was like this voice was screaming at me, "Finish your book, finish your book." And I called my best friend and I said, "I'm learning to read, Jess. I'm learning to read. I'll learn how to read a whole book." And she's
Oh my
like,
god.
right? And then we had a conversation and she goes, "Have you looked at your phone, Shannon?" I'm like, "Yeah, I use it every day. It's how I live my life. I mean, I don't remember anything, so I take a picture of everything and I write down everything and what works and what doesn't and what hurts and what doesn't and how to get better." And I started writing a book, not realizing I was writing a book, just trying to do my self-care and find my way out. And it was just sitting there and she said, "You should really look. You have like 300 notes on your phone and you should really look at what you said." And I said, "Okay." And then I started looking at it. I'm like, "Oh my gosh." I'm like, "I said that?" And I'm like, "I said all this into my phone and I didn't even realize what I said." And the first thing that I wanted was to remember who I was, how I was getting better, what my life was like previous and right now. And the book first was like for me to open something up and know what happened, for me to have a place to log back into my life. And that turned into a published book. It's beautiful. It's called Step Into Your Miracle. And I feel like a miracle. And I know
Totally.
that with everything that has happened to me and for me to be able to come back and find joy from all of that is what I wanted to share with anybody who's going through any trauma, whatever that trauma might be. It might be, a bad run. It might be a divorce. It might be, how I'm raising whatever your messiness is that is hard. there's a way to kind of see yourself and dig yourself out could be one way, but also just how to balance out your life. And so my big hope is, and I keep doing it and it's working, is helping others. And that's what the book is really about. How you can see yourself, whether you're the person holding somebody's hand that's going through something horrific, or you're the person going through something that doesn't feel possible. Either there's both sides to that as well, that you can read and learn how that could feel to be going through something horrible, and or the person going through something horrible, and how do I learn to do it better? So those were the goals that this all started with. Yeah. And so I was the speaker designer, and now I'm the speaker and author. I mean, it's some crazy stuff, really. But and
So
also half the time
interesting.
half the time I don't remember anything still though. So it's like even while having this wonderful conversation and you're recording it, and I will be able to go back and watch it to remember it. But I won't remember what I said, what we talked about. I'll have tidbits, I'll remember a very small percentage of it, but that's it. And then I go back and do things to remember what I'm doing, even to this day. Like my brain trauma, it's it's so much better, but it's still more difficult in certain ways than a normal brain capacity of, it's, as somebody said, "Well, it's an age thing. It's kinda keep forgetting everything." And I'm like, that wasn't the Shannon Michelle 1.0. I, like, ran my company in my brain. And now I can't remember what I ate? What? No? So,
Wow. That's got to be
yeah.
so interesting because if you're trying to remember something, do you ever like do you ever have to actively try to remember something like it's like a dream almost, like it's floating there, or is it stuff that you like leave yourself clues and notes and recordings and stuff just so it
I
reminds
do.
you to pick up where you left off kind of a thing?
Yeah, I have a to-do list with my neurologist who has been amazing as well, and, it's been this process of how to reteach and relearn things, but it's also the process of, if you wanna try to remember something, let's try it this way, and it's writing things down. I take pictures of everything all day long.
Mm.
Like, I could take a picture of
Mhm.
us sitting here right now, and that would be helpful for me. It'd be in my phone in this day, and then there'd be an image. I'd be like, "Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I talked to that guy." And then I make little notes, um, and I have to learn that there's certain things that it's okay to forget, and something like this moment right now, I know that I will be able to go back and relive it in a way, and if I watch it a bunch of times, I will remember it, and I know a 3 is a time for me, like, when I watch something or try to do something 3 times, it tends to stay a little bit more deeper in the brain. So I
Oh,
do that.
okay.
Um, and so I keep things on repeat a lot. I try to, again, try to do something like, even when was learning to cook again, and I was an amazing cook previous to my accident. I would be the one that makes, Christmas dinners and I was just that was me. I loved it. And I had to learn to cook again. And I remember, like, being in the kitchen and asking my daughter, "Well, what that fry pan, what do we do with that?" "Okay, so we can fry an egg." "Okay." And I had to do it multiple times to learn how to cook again, you know? I mean, some basic stuff where you don't realize you have so much up there, and be kinder to yourself with not what you're going to learn next, but just, like, be grateful for everything you have today, and know that it can be deleted. So just find your gratitude with who you are in each moment, and that is a beautiful way to live, again.
Yeah, yeah, it is. I mean, I have so many questions on this because I feel like it's such I mean, I teach psychology, and so I often talk to my students about a case study, right? A case study is specifically it's something we can learn a lot from, neurologists can learn from, but you can't it's not ethical to do it as a trial and, like, repeat it, like, it's not something, like, you can experiment on, it's just you get information from the case study at hand. So it's fascinating to hear what you're saying because I remember thinking, when I'm talking to my students, I tell them, when you remember when you're a kid and you're really young and you're first learning how to do things, and the most basic thing suddenly could be really fun because it's new, right? So, like, when my son, when I'm telling him, yeah, you're gonna carry this over there, you're gonna break down this box, and you're gonna put all those cardboard boxes in the recycling. Now, an adult that takes a long time. It's like, it's a
A lot of
chore.
get
But
yeah.
a child's like, "This is cool. I'm ripping up these boxes," or whatever. So, did you find in your, kind of relearning of things, um, were you ever frustrated and disappointed that and sad about the fact
All the
that you
time.
once knew how to do it? Or was it more like you had to train yourself then to be like, "No, I'm learning something for the first time, and so I'm gonna take advantage of the fact that this is an exciting thing I'm teaching myself."
I think I I think I could at certain points, but I had to get to a place where I wasn't doing the comparison thing,
Mm,
where I
mhm.
wasn't comparing the old me to the new me, and that got more exciting. Like, I remember what came to me right now is I remember I have a pool in my backyard, and I remember I couldn't even walk, and I was learning how to walk again because they had to replace all my hips and blah, 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 and when I was learning to walk, I remember I'm like, "Oh, I wanna go step in that pool, and I bet you I can start walking better in the pool." And I remember thinking, "Okay, can I get to that end, and then can I learn how to swim again?" Like, I have a pool, h I swim again? I mean, stuff like that, and I remember getting to certain places and getting through certain things and, again, being able to drive my car again. Huge, huge, and it was,
Yeah.
"I just wanna drive down the street. I wanna drive down the street and go 1 block." And then it was like, "Okay, I think I'm gonna drive to, that shop or that store." And it was like, again, all these small steps into being able to do it, and I remember the only way I was able to achieve more was not getting overwhelmed with the limited amount of things that I could do. And and that again, that's philosophy of, you know, how can I I'll give you another example. My daughter was in college. She just graduated this year, and my goal was to be able to drive up to San Luis Obispo at some point on my own, even if it took me 6 stops. I was gonna make a distant drive. I learned how to drive the freeways again, and I'm like, "I'm getting up there." And I did, and I remember just feeling just like conquering the world by being able to drive 3 hours up the coast. I used to ride my motorcycle up the coast, like, weekly, and, like, again, it's like giving you freedom to do something that seems so small, it's big. And
But it's a
when
huge
you're
win,
living
yeah. It's a
yeah,
goal.
yeah.
So, I
So
I assume your daughter was going to school at Cal Poly?
yep, she was Cal San Luis Obispo. She graduated, this year. Yeah, and it's been, a struggle for her. She was only 19, and her dad drove up because he's the one that got the call, like, "She's about to die," 'cause I was. They were like 24, 48 hours. They didn't even know if I was gonna live. And he drove right up, picked her up, drove her straight back down to the college, and talked to her about it on the drive back. Didn't call her, just picked her up and said, "Okay, this
Yeah.
is what we're dealing with." And then she sat next to my bed. I was in a coma, but she sat in the hospital for weeks, hoping that I was wake up. They didn't even know, again, they didn't know what they were gonna get, walk, talk, whatever. And then, she thankfully, her dad said, "You need to get back in college. Your mother would be really upset if you were just." And
Yeah,
she
yeah,
did, but she had to learn again, she went through a lot of trauma. The woman who had raised her and kind of supported her whole life was pretty much gone, and she had to learn to live her life without that person, for a chunk of time, and it taught her a lot, and she's a fire science major. She always wanted to be a firefighter even before my accident, which is so crazy as well because the firefighters are what saved me off the road. Like, like they. It was, scrape her off the road, they had to drop ship me in a helicopter because if they put me in a ambulance, I'd be dead. Drop ship me to UCLA. And yeah, so I
That's
I got a little
wild.
lost. Yeah.
No, you're good. I'm like, there's a couple of things I want to double back to real quick. So first of all, I thought it was amazing when you said that your husband did not call her. He went
Yeah,
and
it was
picked her up.
we weren't together anymore as a couple, so it was her dad, but it was, from a distance as far as raising her. Um,
Right.
and yeah, he got the phone call because we were on each other's living trust as like make all the decisions. We trust that person. We love that person. We had a lot of respect for each other, even not being together as a couple. Um, and he drove up. Yeah.
Well, that's still amazing because, a lot of people, that ties into kind of what we talk about here on Offline Expression is the fact that the digital world and technology has so many beautiful things that it can offer us. Our ability to connect right now is one of those and, things of this nature. But there is something so important about personal communication that it's face to face and um, it provides comfort, it provides learning opportunities from others, and it provides a much more clear understanding of communication because the facial expressions and the body tone and like all the language that comes with that stuff is so much more important than a text message or an email in most of the, especially something serious when you're talking about an emergency or something that is really scary. That could have been terrifying for her to feel so helpless and so far away, and to be able to have somebody that cares about her come and say this is the situation, that she probably respected that so much more and was able to really hear it and
Yes.
okay, and then had an action, something she could do right away. We're getting in the car and we're going there, so let's do that. And so that is magnificent in a little silo, in a little moment. That is a really beautiful thing. So, but on that same note, let me ask you, you know, when you were reteaching yourself stuff and relearning everything, um, the technical world, the digital virtual world, I imagine was a major part of your business. I mean, in order, just like anybody's business, of course. So, communicating like this must have been hard.
Well, and also it was such a huge part of my recovery, because I visually could take in more than I couldn't speak or whatever I was moving through. My phone had my life in it. I had images of my life in it. So there
Mm,
were technical things that were
right,
so important. Or when I was learning to do things again or remember things, my phone was my godsend. Like it was what I depended on to live my life. So technology has both sides. Like it was able to kind of guide me and show me the way again and who I was and what I could remember and what I could do. And then I appreciate that, but I also, like, can't believe that I couldn't remember what a computer was and I ran my own company. What? I mean, the mess of learning how to process through, again, the the things you can lose and the things you can gain, and how you can find your way back into some version of yourself. I mean, that's the big part, is a lot of people take a lot of time trying to reinvent themselves, but really they're just trying to regain something they think they lost or they could be, and sometimes we
right.
just, again, not worry about or think about things in that perspective.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, being able to become okay with who we are and be friends with ourselves is already a really tough challenge for so many people. And so being able to find that path to acceptance, self-awareness, but also um then have the grit to say, okay, well, what am I going to do about that? Is an inspiring story in and of itself. But then to transition from this career that you had into an author and a speaker, um, that is, it's taking it extra. You know what I mean? It's not just can I get back to living a normal life or uh, 2.0 version of who I was or am, but also using this experience to help others. I mean, come on. That's the icing on the cake. That's like going above and beyond in so many ways. And I imagine that is so fulfilling and a really wonderful added bonus to how far you've come, is it not?
It is. It's the reason why I guess I can put it in a simplified version. I also within my accident and my brain trauma, I remember being mid-state and having the essence of what it feels like to move on and had to make a decision to come back. And me coming back was purely to help others because I remember wanting to move on. And I
Whoa.
remember my father figure at the time had passed 6, 7 months before my accident, and he happened to be there just kind of pausing me and kind of making me not so making it not such an easy decision in a way, because it was definitely something that I felt, and I know that if he I don't think if he I think if he was not there, like, calming me down in a way and pausing me, I don't think I'd be sitting here today. And
Wow,
I
that is
again, it's, there's a lot of there's a lot of again, there's a lot of things I gained mentally, physically, spiritually, soulfully from all of this, and yeah.
wow. I'm really moved by that because I think that there's something, there's a lot of conversations happen in the world about, what happens when you are this close to death or, and so to have somebody who can definitively say, this happened to me is a really interesting and kind of eye-opening reality. And so the fact that you're able to take that and turn it around and make it help others is just really wonderful. So with that in mind, I want to ask you where could people go to learn more about you and what it is that you do, your books, your speaking engagements? Tell us about that.
I have an amazing they made me an amazing website. Step into your miracle, stepintoyourmiracle.com. All these moments too, it's like the step into your miracle came to me like and then I remember that, thinking of a title and I'm like, a miracle, step into your miracle or step into my miracle? No, step into your miracle. And so they did. Also created a beautiful website, stepintoyourmiracle.com. You can buy my book. There's all kinds of ways to do that. I'm in the bookstores and Amazon and all over the place. And then
Great.
it has guidance as to like how I'm hoping to help others in whatever recovery they're processing through or going through or supporting somebody through. And there are I just completed quite a few book signings and speaking engagements this last month. So it was phenomenal. Like I can't wait to do more of it, and I getting Sched I don't know if scheduled is the right term, but yeah. So please go to my website, stepintomiracle.com. Please come buy my book. The thing I always forget, but okay, quickly. So this is my book, just so you can see it. My daughter drew the cover.
Beautiful. That is
So I feel like
beautiful
she's
art.
yeah, and she wouldn't consider herself an artist, but she is. So yeah, so this is my book,
That's
stepinyourmiracle.com.
excellent.
Yeah.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh. Wonderful.
yeah. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
since you're in California and you're not you're no stranger to the San Luis Obispo area, which is just a little bit south of us.
Yeah.
Next time you're up this way, I'm gonna definitely need to have you come by and say hello. And we should probably get you into a speaking engagement here somewhere. I mean, my goodness, it sounds like you would be absolutely perfect for any of those things. And I'm just so grateful that I know that we tried really hard to schedule this. We had
Yes.
maybe 3 or 4 different, misfires, due to the holidays and technical issues and all this kind of stuff, and we almost had this beginning of this one kinda have its way with us, but here we are persevering, and I'm so glad that we did. I know that you have a busy day scheduled. So, with that in mind, I just want to thank you for being with me today and sharing your story with me and the world, right? And
Yeah. Oh,
congratulate
absolutely.
you.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for having me, and, yeah, I this has been fun, and yes, I look forward to having another conversation or, a meet and greet with you as well, and, yeah.
Definitely. I'm gonna be reaching out to ask you for advice because I'm just writing my first book now as well. And so I'm gonna have to seek out some guidance as these things start to take over when it
I
comes
have
out
a
in the
great
spring. So
publisher and all of that, yes, please do. I
excellent.
can't even believe
Well,
that I
thank
mean, my book is published, which is a whole other level of, like, a published book?
right. Yeah, I know, right? You can write something, but it's a whole other process taking it from there to where
Published,
other people can
yeah,
get their hands on it and publishing it. Oh
yeah,
my goodness.
yeah, yeah,
And that's
it's
the hard
a
part, I
journey.
guess. But we can do hard things, right?
Absolutely, and again, we survive through what we wanna survive through,
That's
and
right.
thrive through that as well, and again, all of that can be a full circle of life.
Yes, that's exactly right. I couldn't agree more, and I'm so grateful again for your time. So, without further ado, Shannon, Michelle, I appreciate you, and we will talk really soon, okay?
Great, thanks, bye. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.